right. How's everybody?
Doing good.
Ain't bad.
All right. We're hanging on to the smallest lead now, 4-3, right?
Yep.
I'm sure everybody's watching the Phillies, so I don't know how many people are going to pay attention to us, but we're gonna try to offer up a good show tonight. We got a lot going on, but welcome everybody. We're This Fans View. It's October 19th. We're right dead smack in the middle of Red October. It's official. Dead smack. Johnny, we'll let you open it up because I know you've been busy putting all those numbers together, crunching all the fantasy football numbers. Joe Stinger, what's up, buddy? He's our Phillies guru down there in Brownsville, Florida. No? Brooksville. Brownsville. Did I have it wrong? It's Brownsville, right? Brooksville.
Something like that.
Joey will get me straight. Johnny, take it away.
All right. Well, we got to go back to week 5 because we were live last week, and somebody important is wants to get her recognition here. So the viewers team beat Carl 250 to 144 in week 5.
They didn't beat me; they kicked my butt.
Yeah, well, it's been an ugly year all around for fantasy.
Yeah, but you got to get lucky once in a while.
Exactly. But the star of that week was Emily Fields Russell. She kicked butt. She had the high score that week with the score of 295.52, which wasn't only the high score of the week, but it was actually a This Fans View fantasy football record. Over the past 4 years, that's the highest score ever. So, congratulations to Emily. I know she was hoping to get that recognition last week, but we weren't able to do it with Tom Burgoyne there. He kind of stole the show a little bit, so it was a good night.
Good job, Em. If you were on live with us, you'd have got your recognition. But
she wasn't even there. Oh.
Well, she's not here.
Oh, jeez.
She's not here.
Well, I said it, so I'm not saying it again, though. But congratulations! You can go back and watch the video then.
Ooh. Wow! Way to throw mud at our interns.
No, she kicked butt. That was a great win that she had that week. So congratulations to her. This week here we have to go under the hood. We got a little bit of reviewing to do. Checking out the things. What we got?
Going under the hood.
Yeah. We have after further review, the This Fans View challenge was overturned, and Nathaniel Hackett wasn't bribed to not play Melvin Gordon. So the score stands. Lauren and Anthony lost to the viewers. 161.84 to 161.54, a 0.3 of a loss. It was Melvin Gordon just got benched in the second half and overtime. We don't understand it. It was.
Can I throw? Is it too late to throw a challenge flag?
Well, that's what we just went under the hood, and it didn't work. It
didn't work.
It got upheld. So they won. So
we can't even cheat a little bit.
I know exactly. It was just that close. That was again another record for This Fans View. The margin of victory of 0.3 of a point. Not too bad there. Kyle O'Brien was the high scorer with the score of 199.62. So
now there's a cheater.
There's a cheater. He's up there at Penn State, with his analytics in class and getting all these options away.
Does he take an analytics class?
He does.
Really?
He does. Yeah, he cheats.
Huh.
He cheats that way.
Professor Kapler?
Kapler. Exactly. So congratulations to him. And the viewers are now up 5-1 overall in the season here. So we have to make a big second half turnaround here with for us host. So, and hopefully it starts with me this week. So we'll go try to get back on the winning streak here.
All right.
Yeah.
How we looking player wise? We still reeling them in every week.
Oh yeah, still holding strong at 63 viewers playing.
Good.
So
Good.
it's very very good. Everybody's keeping up with their rosters and everything. So it's a good time.
Good.
Yep.
Good. Good. Good.
Scores are tight. For overall win. Leader at the moment. So I think everybody's hanging in there good. Nobody's out of it. Even with this, like I said, this year's been rough with fantasy football. You just look at the scores and some ugly games, and but I mean, you got a scores go. Last week was 250, and this week it's 161. So that's a big difference between weeks to weeks. So
All right.
yeah.
Well, good luck, everybody. Get your picks in.
Yep.
Or John will haunt you.
He will come to your house and
Yes.
knock on your door.
Yes.
Make sure you get them in. Make sure you get them in.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. So it looks like San Diego tied it up, according to Pete Wharton.
Yeah.
4-4.
Yeah, it looks like so.
Nola is not at his best outing today.
No, he's not sharp tonight. He's making my game 6 prediction with him being on the mound and being the MVP of the NLCS. Not looking good right at the moment. Harper's on that right at the moment.
Rolling right into to where we're at, and all about the Phillies and how we got here. We would have been very happy going back home, right? For 3 in Philly, 1-1. I mean, it'd be great to win them both, and the game's far from over. But we're not throwing in any towels. So you got to play. You got to play the game out. Nola's been lights out, but I mean, you kind of thought it was going to take a near perfect game to hold this team down, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, no, the Padres are just as hot as the Phillies are. Coming in beating the Dodgers. Their big rival that they've had to face for the past couple of years. So it was a big statement win that they shut them out last night, and so that's good. 5 out of the 8 games so far that they played this year, there was 5 shutouts in those 8 games.
Well, we'll keep one eye on the game, and I'm sure many of our viewers are going to keep us up to date. Although we all have TVs and we see what's going on, but Lauren, and I want to throw it to you. I think because of all of us here in tonight, you guys were at the game Friday. How crazy was it?
Yeah, last Friday it was pretty crazy. I'd never been to a playoff game before for the Phillies. Last year we had done a couple of playoff games on our honeymoon, but obviously the Phillies weren't in it. So that was the first time I had been there before. It was nuts. Yeah, it was nuts, but I think I texted you. Everybody was like manageable. There was never like a outrageous moment or anything. Like there was lines to get food and drinks and stuff, but nothing like crazy out of the norm.
I think people were
I think they were just excited to be there. So everybody was like pretty well behaved for the most part. I mean, the section over from us, I don't know if the dad bought the tickets ahead of time before he knew who the Phillies were going to be playing, but he came with his 2 kids and they all had Mets gear on.
Nice. Nice.
So, I mean, you kind of know how that went. And I saw another gentleman later on in the evening, and I don't know what happened to him. He could be dead for all I know, but he had a Cowboys sweatshirt on and a Dodgers hat.
Very nice.
smart.
Very nice. He got eaten alive in Philly.
Yeah.
It was. I think people were they're trying to take it in because of the first game in a long time, and they were also a little nervous. I think going forward it'll be a little bit more rowdy, I would imagine. But they just seemed a little bit nervous, a little bit on edge until they started doing stuff. So I've been to some other playoff games, and it didn't feel as loud as some of those, but it was obviously pretty.
Yeah, it was
exciting.
It was pretty loud when Reese hit that home run. Obviously, it was pretty loud when Bryce followed it up with one, but it never felt like, holy shit, that's really loud. But apparently, I think Ken Rosenthal reported a day or so ago that he got like notifications on his phone about how loud something was in the vicinity of where he was. And normally that's for like a tornado coming through or something like that. That's
Oh,
like
wow.
rather loud. But it was apparently
I
the
think
game.
I think that was the next day of the clinching game. So
Yeah.
I think the game we were there, people were just a little on edge because they were wanting to make sure they won, and they hadn't been there in a while.
I will say I've never been to a game where there's been rally towels before, and so these were red rally towels, and the amount of little pieces of fabric and fibers that just float around you is fascinating. There's so much of that just like swarming as people are twirling them. It's funny.
Yeah, that's the best part of it. You know, that feeling when you see the crowd getting ready, pumped up, and especially when they say we're going live for the game and everybody gets excited. That's gives you a chill.
But yeah, it was awesome. Shane Victorino threw out the first pitch. Brett Myers was there. Tobias Harris was there. George Niang was there. So it was cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very
nice.
You guys, it was loud. You could hear it a mile away. The ballpark. You know that's how loud it was. So, it was a good time.
I guess the question that I have, I mean, it just and we just talked about it a little bit. You know, are we content on them just making the playoffs? I mean, I know we beat St. Louis in the wild card, and we just upset the Braves, who were heavily favored. You know, where does that pendulum swing? Like, you know, like how do we balance all of this? You know, with the Phillies. I mean, let's face it, we were on a roller coaster all year, right? We were back and forth, up, down, here, there. You know, we're in, we're out, we suck, we're great. You know, like, what's your guys' opinion of you know? I mean, it's easy to kind of dictate today, you know, because you know what's the score? It's still 4-4, bases loaded. You know, are we going to be in good shape coming home? You know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at home. What do you guys think?
They're going to be fine. I think people overall should be happy. You know, God forbid they didn't win the series. They should still be happy because not one person in this room or elsewhere would have thought they would have been here right here this year, especially, you know, given the month of September and everyone's about to jump off a bridge. But they're going to be fine, and everyone should be happy with the year. But you know, they also could easily win this game and come back home and have 3 games in Philadelphia and make a trip to the World Series, which not one person expected. So you're always going to have someone that's going to bitch. But I think overall the fan base should be pretty happy where this year's going.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last time we were live, or maybe the time before that, before they even went into the postseason, I had sort of said something to the effect of, you know, if they're going to make it and they're going to lose in the first round, don't bother.
Right.
And I think that's how a lot of fans felt, based on how they had played through the month of September, was, you know, yeah, okay, get in, but what's going to happen? And you and a couple other people had always sort of talked about like, just get in and you don't know what's going to happen. Right. And I never really like understood what that meant, because I thought to myself, well, they played like shit in September. Why do I want them to get in if they're going to keep playing like shit? But for the first time, I feel like I really saw that momentum sort of change. Mm-hmm. And then it just felt like everything sort of clicked on all cylinders and all the wheels were going the right way. And they've only had one loss this whole postseason, which was last Wednesday. We'll see how they fare tonight. But I mean, now I completely understand what that, you know, just get in and you don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's exactly what we're watching right now.
Yeah, that momentum is it's huge. John, you know, what are you thinking? I mean, I know you're probably the biggest baseball fan of all the sports, and I know what you've been saying all year. But you know, where they sit right now, what are your thoughts?
No, I agree with it. Like Lauren, you're saying, you know, I think the weight of making the playoffs got lifted once they made it, and that's this team was from the very beginning was built for the playoffs, and they just never got to the playoffs. With the home run hitters that they have, we see how that's what's propelling them to get where they are, and the pitching with Nolan Wheeler at the top there, and Ranger doing well is what you need is the formula for success in the playoffs. And once you start winning a few games here and there, it takes the pressure off, and they're like, hey, what, we do belong here. And I think obviously once you're in it now, you don't want to fall short. You're going for the for the World Series, and does that mean that if they lose in this game, 7 games here, that they are like, oh, okay, well, the season was terrible? No, it was a good time, and they gave us more excitement than we expected right at the moment.
I think what people need to understand is it's obviously pretty hard. I mean, if you're the Mets or the Braves or the Dodgers going into this with the money that, especially the Mets and the Dodgers, how much money they spent, that almost shows you once you get to the playoffs, that is almost irrelevant because they're really short series. You just have to have the pitcher on and get some hits and you win. So yeah, just getting there is really the only thing. Yeah.
No, exactly. And it's just and don't get too worried. I mean, you're going to have tomorrow's going to be we're probably not pitching wise. We're not going to be the favorites on Friday with Musgrove going against Ranger Suarez. Musgrove's been pitching well, but so is Ranger. So we just got to hope the bats come alive a little bit once we get back to home cooking, and like they did Friday when Lauren was there last week. So Anthony. So
I will say if they lose tonight, it might be us because they lost last Wednesday and we did our live show. And if they lose tonight, it could be us.
It could be.
Huh. I don't like to hear that.
So that means it's a good thing that next week we rescheduled our show to be on Tuesday night.
And we look like geniuses, right?
Exactly. So
we look like geniuses, right?
Exactly. So they won't lose.
Well, but, I mean, no, I don't.
Game 1 of the World Series, so we'll be happy.
To go back to your original question, no, I think even if they lose this series and they don't make it to the World Series, this is not considered a failure by any stretch of the imagination. Will people be disappointed? Absolutely.
Right. They're going to win this. They're going to win this.
It's definitely not. After everything that's happened this year to this team, getting to where we are right now wouldn't be considered a failure.
Right.
Well, today's not looking, 4-0, now 7-4. Yeah, it's, that's a kick in the, kick in the gut.
Well, I will say the tough thing is last night you won 2-0 from 2 home runs. A win is a win. I get it. But that's all you had.
Right.
Tonight, you had the second inning where they scored the 4 runs and then nothing since. That's not always going to work depending on who the opponent is. So I hope that they rally, get back out there at the top of the 6th and make some things happen. Last night there was no small ball.
It's not over. It's far from over.
Right.
No, it's far from over. And I just we're growing. What's the right word? We're just growing to see this team come together.
Right.
And to jump out to that early 4-0 lead, where our expectations are higher, and we don't expect Nola to be out in the 5th inning and have given up, I guess all of those runs are on him. So, Brad Hand came in and, he was supposed to, get us, an out, and, that didn't work out. But yeah, there is a lot of the game left. We just keep our fingers crossed that they gotta make a comeback, just like San Diego just had a comeback.
Exactly. The bat's got to pull this one out now.
But yeah, I'd love to see a Yankee Phillies reunion. I had a conversation with a Yankee fan the other day, and he's like, there's no way the Phillies won't even, they won't stand a chance.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, the Yankees aren't playing very good baseball. You know what I mean? They ought to be very fortunate that they rolled over and beat on Cleveland. Um, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, with all the big powerhouses out, the Dodgers out, that's crazy.
Yep.
Who would have thunk, right? The Braves are out. Who would have thunk,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you would have, if you were a betting man, you were not betting that they were going to be out in this early in the playoffs.
Exactly. No, it's true. It's kind of lining up like 2008 for the Phillies.
Well, that's where I was going to go with this because, you kind of want to get hot at the right time. And we talked about, a miserable September and, the lights kind of, started to flicker a little bit and, we started to do some good things. But, we still got a couple of guys that we got to get going, I don't think we've seen the best of the Phillies as a team.
Right. All right.
Can you imagine if all these guys started hitting together? It's just we need to figure out what Nick is doing wrong, what Reese is doing wrong. But there's games to be played, right? Even if they lose tonight, it's now a best of 5, right? So we got 3 in Philly.
Exactly.
So that's the way you can kind of base this now. It's a 5-game series, and you got home field.
Yep, exactly.
So,
and like you said, prior to the series starting, you would have been happy with the 1-1 coming home.
Exactly.
So
I mean, we got a little. I'll admit, I got a little carried away. I got spoiled. I'm like, this team can't lose.
Right.
One loss a week ago. We're blaming it on this fan's view. No more Wednesday night shows when they're playing.
Right.
Pure and simple.
Exactly.
We'll have to run a poll on social media and figure all that out. We'll leave that up to our guru to run a poll and see what happens. But what else you guys got going? I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, I know we've kind of been beating the game up today. We talked about getting where we're at, and how crazy is it going to be down there this weekend? I mean, the Eagles are off this weekend, right? They got a bye, so the Phillies are going to pretty much own, the Patterson Avenue.
Oh yeah.
For 3. I mean, there's people that may not go home for 3 nights.
Right. Exactly. No, it's going to be bedlam down there. That's for sure. It's going to be chaos and good time and like you said, just coming back and you just look how they bounced back after the Atlanta Braves. They kind of did the same thing. They won game 1 and then lost game 2, coming back and then took care of business and won the next 2 games, and here we are right now. So,
Right.
And I think the Braves are a better team than the Padres right now. So, I'm not worried too much about it. This team's got something going. The Padres do have, as they showed it, they're a little gutsy here and there. Get some good hitting going on, but we'll be able to get to them. And
I think the problem is sometimes some of it gets into their heads. So Nola wasn't pitching great. You bring in Hand, he had an issue, and now Blatty's having trouble throwing strikes. You know what I mean? I think you just got to stop and breathe for a second,
right,
and do what you've been doing. I think it gets in your heads, and then all of a sudden you're down 3 runs. Just got to relax a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. No, you're right. How good of a job did Sir Anthony look yesterday coming in for Wheeler afterwards? I mean, he was looking electric.
What was the logic there in putting him in first and having Alvarado close?
Yeah, I don't like that. I wish it would be the other way around. He looks way better than Alvarado, just crisp, a little bit more crisp.
Yeah, well, it was, again, just the matchups. going back to the analytics, they have their certain blocks that each pitcher does better, should do better against. So it just, if the lineup was a little bit differently, Alvarado probably would have came in, if the ninth inning guys were up at that time in the eighth inning type of thing, he would have been in the game. It was just the matchups type of thing. And, we'll see different things. I mean, Alvarado's been pretty darn solid since he's coming back up from the minor leagues. So, that they have all the faith in him as well. I don't think that's a problem, coming in. I was a little nervous that they pulled Zach Wheeler out, with only 83 pitches.
Well, I think half the world,
yeah,
at least every Phillies fan was like, what is Bob Thompson thinking? What is he, but he ended up, looking like a genius on that move. And,
right.
Maybe he's thinking, game 6, game 7, he needs to have his best pitchers all hands on deck kind of thing.
Exactly. No, it did. He ended up saving them in the end. And I mean, you've seen a lot of times with the Phillies or against the Phillies, the pitcher's lights out one day and all of a sudden it gives the opposing team the juice once you take that pitcher out and then you end up losing it. But they did the job, so it all works out, perfectly.
Yeah, it did. It did. Again, maybe as fans we're getting a little. We're getting a little spoiled. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. We're, the expectations are, have gotten pretty high.
Well, I just they can't get out of this inning.
Yeah, it's the longest inning of all time.
That's what I know.
Yeah, but I mean that's playoff baseball though. Every little move, whether it's it ends up being good or bad, it's always going to be nitpicked and pulled apart because that's every little detail right now matters. With the game, and that's what makes the game so much fun. The intricacies of the game. That
well, I hear what you're saying, and it's good conversation. But when you jump out 4-0 on the road, you expect one of your aces to have a little bit better control and. It just didn't happen. And then, you bring in, a couple of the links in the bullpen that, we've questioned them all year, right?
Right. Well, exactly.
Brad Hand just came back from the IL and, we've questioned Bilotti all year, whether he's right for the job. Can he throw strikes? He can't throw strikes. We've been all over the place, and to get back to this inning, we're beating ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're beating yourself. It's not like, it's not like San Diego's, hitting all over the park.
Exactly.
When you bring in a relief pitcher, he's got one thing to do, and that's throw strikes and get an out. We needed one out. So, the frustration sets in a little bit. Hopefully, maybe, this is, the kind of game that they need to reset, some things. And, they're off tomorrow. They come back to Philly. I just keep being a long time, Philly sports fan and, just having the excitement of all the teams, right? Everybody's, on board. Everybody's playing real sports right now. The exhibition seasons are over. The Flyers are playing real games. The Sixers started last night. What the Birds are doing. And, all these players are supporting each other, right?
Yeah.
It's the camaraderie is so real, and it's just good to see the whole city like come together, not just the fans, because we know what Philly fans are like, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I mean, just look at the price of tickets for this weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just look at the price of those tickets and that'll tell you what, where things are at.
Oh, absolutely. No, you're right.
That's
what makes Philadelphia special.
beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, we asked for Red October, right? We wanted Red October. We wanted it really bad, and we got it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We got it, and now we got to, we got to do something with it, right? We got to,
Sure.
we got to figure out a way to beat San Diego, and what better place to do it than on your home field, right? At Citizens Bank Park.
Exactly. We'll take our chances there.
Lauren, how were those $15 beers?
Good. Yeah, real good.
I got you. I get price doesn't matter when you're having a good time, right?
Price doesn't matter when you're at a playoff game. No, the $15 beer or the $20 cocktail.
Or the $25 parking.
Which I didn't think was bad. I mean, regular season parking's 22. They could have hiked that up a lot more than that, but they didn't.
All those prices are the same.
Yeah, nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
I mean, a damn postseason pin is $15, but
But you buy 2 get 1 free though, or something, wasn't? Isn't there? Do you still have that deal?
I must have not got that deal because I definitely bought 3.
Oh,
Yeah, it's all right.
yeah.
Somebody gave me a gift card to buy them stuff, but then the gift card didn't work.
Hmm.
Oh, what a scam!
So that was convenient.
Yeah.
Son of a
Oops.
bitch.
Oops.
They're expecting obviously, huge crowds anyway because we got emails today. The
Right.
guy in the store and our concessions guy sent Lauren and other people. They're looking for concessions workers, store workers.
Yeah.
I think they're going to pay a few $100 like a stipend for the day to work the games because they're in desperate need of employees to, every stand. That's the other thing to mention. I've been in the Phillies, Pirates, all these places. It's very rare that you see every single stand open. There's always something closed.
Mm-hmm.
They had every stand open, and they made. If a stand normally sold sausages, they might have had that selling Christmas, fall cocktails.
Right.
They made up their own stands,
Mm.
and they were all busy. So they're obviously expecting a ton of people.
Yeah, they it sounds like if I was able to work Friday, Saturday, or Sunday games because I work in the team store for the Fightins, I would get paid $200 to work one of the Phillies games.
Wow.
They're that desperate for merch people. And I will say when we were there on Friday, not every register had a person at it.
Right.
I would say like half was full.
At the
Really?
store.
Yeah.
Well, they're just having trouble getting employees in there.
Mhm.
Sure.
I'm sure they get
wants,
people. that
nobody
say,
wants to work, right?
I'm sure they get people that say, I want to be an usher and be a looky loo, but you
Right.
need people, to check people out.
Right.
I got to break up that fight. No, I'm just watching the game.
I'm just here for the game. Very good. Well, we can always, if we got any time left over, we can certainly come back to the Phillies. I just, I'm a little bit disappointed because I wanted to see our Aaron Nola outperform their Austin Nola, and it
was 1-1. It was 1-1.
Well, yeah, I know, but I wanted our Nola to pitch,
Oh yeah.
seven strong and strike his brother out a couple of times.
Well, I mean that was the directions for or not directions, not the right word, but the formula for winning right now is we had Wheeler and Nola has pitched every game except for the Ranger Suarez game.
Right.
This year the playoffs and going 6-7 innings shutout baseball. So
Yep.
That's the way to do it, and you can get to the like you said, you didn't have to go to the middle of the bullpen that has been struggling a little bit this year, and expose them in these times and use that top part of the bullpen. But
well, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. But let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about our Eagles, our Birds, 6-0.
Yep.
I know there isn't a person in this room that could sit here and honestly predict that they would have been 6-0 at this juncture. And if you thought so, the floor is yours. You can have it. You can expend on the conversation. I never would have thought 6-0 out of the gate. I don't care how soft the competition was. I would have never predicted 6-0.
Yeah, no, I mean they've had two which you would have thought earlier in the year challenging games with the Vikings and Cowboys so far, and they took care of business with those two games. So the rest of the schedule has been a little bit weaker, but that's what you got to do to take care. You got to take care of your business because other teams lose to those games. So no, they've been playing well. All around as a team. Defensively, the offense has been looking good. So yeah, no, I think it's a great thing to see. I think we've seen Sirianni take that next step as a coach and has this team really playing well.
Well, is it him or his assistant coaches? Because we talked a lot about the offensive coordinator. We talked a lot about the defensive coordinator, and before we did try to dissect what they got going on, we have yet to see. They're 6-0, right? And we've yet to see a complete game,
right?
Like where they're firing on all cylinders, offense, defense, special teams. They've had hiccups along the way in all those areas, but they've all managed to win.
Yeah, they're 6-0, and they've only scored in the second quarter. Basically, I mean, not 90% of their scoring's all been in the second quarter this year.
Here we are, Philly sports fans, and we're bitching about 6-0.
Oh no, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying, but that just goes to your point as far as that they haven't played a complete game. I mean, they've done all their scoring in the second quarter.
But it looks like they've been doing a good job adjusting. When the Cowboys were coming back, we're like, oh boy, that doesn't look good, and then they were able to stop them and score. So they've been doing a pretty good job of adjusting on the fly.
Oh yeah, no, they do.
They have. Yeah, you're 100% right. They've made adjustments. They've changed up coverages. They've done the things that they've needed to do. When it was, we'll take most recent, the Cowboy game, 20-17. I started to get a little concerned. I got a little nervous. I'm like, you're up 20-3, and you just let the stinking Cowboys back in this game against a backup quarterback, right? Special teams play was pathetic, right? Let's not sugarcoat it. Yeah. It was pathetic. They gave up a 60-some yard return, on the one touchdown. But again, and I love saying it. I mean, 6-0, you got a bye week. You're going to get healthy, and you're going to come back home against the cross-state Pittsburgh Steelers, right?
Yep.
Well, that's a game that actually it's a game that a lot of people might glance over. They desperately need a win out there. They're struggling. That, you know what I mean? So that's a game you can see them losing, and then hopefully people don't jump off the bridge at that point, because that's a game. You know what I mean? Eventually there's going to be a game, and
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what happens in life. But that's a team you can see maybe losing to because you don't expect it at all.
Yep. The last team to go undefeated was Miami Dolphins, 17-0, 1972.
Well, yeah. Well, for the full season, the Patriots went undefeated for the regular season.
Right.
Right. But yeah, no, but what happened in 2004, Anthony? The same thing happened. The Eagles went to Pittsburgh, and they were undefeated, and they lost to the Steelers then, and we still ended up going to the Super Bowl.
And they're not obviously having a really good year, but the Steelers are going to want to play them hard, and the young quarterback's going to want to get a win no matter what he's got to do. So you could see him having a really close game that people don't expect. But
and Tomlin always has that team ready to go. They may not always win games. They're always going to be a tough out for winning. And so, yeah, I mean, no matter how far they get down below, he's never had a losing season. So,
right,
that just goes to show how good of a coach he is out there as well.
And they've always had great players,
right?
They've always drafted well. They've always made the good deals. I mean, how many Super Bowls? 5, 6? I don't know how many they got.
6 of them.
6.
So they're there's no chump change in that organization. You
Oh,
know,
no.
they're built to win. You know,
Right.
the Rooney family, you know, that losing is not in their DNA.
No, I mean, just look at their organization, how stable they are. What's it? 3 coaches they've had in their entire
Right.
franchise existence.
Exactly.
That's
So, like Anthony said, you know, that could be, you know, I know we talk a lot about, you know, a game that we're afraid of, or, you know, you could pencil in as a loss. You know, that's a game that we coming out of the break. I mean, you got to be ready to go.
right.
You got to be
Well, I
ready
also
to.
wonder if being off for a week will impact that. You know, they sort of been just rolling on momentum and adrenaline probably these last 6 weeks. So now they're going to take their foot off the gas to be off for the bye. Does that impact, you know, them coming back on the field again?
Well, in a normal situation, maybe, but I think the way the Eagles, you know, especially that offensive line is struggling with injuries, little nagging injuries here and there. I think, which, you know, leads to some of their, you know, inconsistent play, like you were saying. I think that's going to help them. I'm
not. I get that. You know, it's a good time for guys to obviously rest up and get healthy, but you just worry about the momentum you're driving, and then all of a sudden it just stops.
Right. No, yeah. You
find that to pick it back up and keep going.
Yeah, no matter how bad the guys are banged up, if you ask them, they probably want to play when you're 6-0. You keep going. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, talking about injuries, you know, a guy that I totally respect. We got to know him a little bit this summer. Lane Johnson. He came down with a concussion, you know, in the first half of the game, and you know, I've asked a couple people that I thought know everything about the Eagles organization, and you know, like what happened to him? How did he get concussed? I mean, where did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that on Monday. Like they never showed a potential play where he may have gotten banged up, or you know, and it was pretty obvious. I mean, he left the game, so you could have easily gone back 1 or 2 plays to figure out where he could have gotten banged up. But
yeah,
but that was early on in the game, right?
Yes,
it was. Yeah.
So I mean, did it not happen in the game? Did it happen in practice and he didn't have to enter the protocol thing and they tried to throw him out there? And he quickly realized that, you know, there was a lot worse than he thought.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Hey, maybe he's got a little.
Those bubble wrap helmets didn't work in practice, huh?
Right. he's got to do the extra bubble wrap like Kelsey does.
But I have the utmost respect for Lane Johnson.
Oh yeah.
As I do for Jason Kelsey, but Lane has played that position flawlessly, and it's a tough, you know, to keep the quarterbacks, you know, blindside, you know, keep him clean, and then we ran Driscoll in there, young player, and he just got eaten alive. Just you know, just wasn't a good situation. But injuries they're going to happen.
Right.
They're going to happen. You just got to hope that they're not serious enough that it takes them out of the game. And this isn't Eagles related, but it is one of our favorite. Let's beat his ass every week as much as we possibly can because we love him so much. Number 11, the Washington
Commanders.
Our boy Carson got a broken finger and he's out 4 to 6 weeks.
So I was just about to bring them up actually. So it's fascinating, you know, the whole, you know, the Eagles, the Giants, the Cowboys, everyone's doing well, and then these Commanders. It's fascinating. The owner's out of his mind. He's got stuff on people that he doesn't like, which he knows Jerry Jones, 100% Jerry Jones, and it's definitely Roger Goodell. And they can't get him out of there as an owner quick enough. He took forever to change the name. They've been horrendous since he's been there. I think for the sport in general, that guy might want to sell because he's just a mess. And that fan base has nothing to root for.
Yeah.
How many horrible backup, washed up quarterbacks have they gone through over the last, and I don't really watch football over the last 10, 15 years. I mean, it's just horrible person after horrible person. Like, I don't know what they're doing.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, you know it's bad when Irsay's saying you got to get rid of that guy.
Right.
Irsay's
him of all people.
Exactly. He's the pot calling the kettle black right there. I mean, he's not a saint of a owner himself, and but you do notice, like you were saying, Anthony, you're probably right that Jerry Jones is one of the guys that he has the dirt on, because Jerry Jones is his biggest opponent.
100%.
To keep him around. Like, no, he's fine. Leave him go.
I keep on thinking other things that happened too. There was the scandal with the cheerleaders,
right?
Because it was it just seems like anarchy there. No one's in control. It's all nonsense.
Oh yeah, no, it's
how many more teams will Carson go through before he calls it quits?
That's an excellent question, and this could be it. This could be his last hurrah as a starter.
I think he's too selfish. I mean, a team would have to be willing to take a risk with him, but he's too selfish to say, you know what, maybe I should just pack it in.
But it might not be his decision.
Right.
Well,
as soon as we saw how it was in Philadelphia, as soon as Washington says, hey, you're the backup, I think it's over. He's not going to want to be there. He might go to a really crappy team, but I think it'll be. I don't.
But who's a really crappy team? Who's worse than Washington?
The Browns or something. I don't know. A team that's never good. A team that's horrible. No, when you're the backup for the Browns, you might as well just pack it in.
Yeah, no, I don't think the only way he's going to stay is because of the contract. He's not going to retire, but they're saying he may not play another snap in Washington this year because of everything going on. Because he's going to be out 6 weeks. Their season's already, not very good as it is. So, they'll put Tyler Heineke probably in to play, and, probably draft a guy next year type of thing and see what happens. But
we were so looking forward to him coming to Philly.
Yeah. Well,
were we?
Oh, yeah, we were. Oh, yeah, the Boo Birds would have been out. The warm welcome would have been, we'd have been lined up for him.
Yeah.
He probably broke his own finger just not to come here.
So he's faking another injury?
Yeah.
Did I just say that?
I don't. Yeah, he definitely won't be playing here, but
I at least give him credit. Anthony said he's the Ben Simmons of the NFL. At least Carson plays.
Right.
Well, listen, from what you hear, maybe that's a good transition, because what you hear from Ben Simmons is he
can't wait.
He can't wait. So
can't wait to come to Philly.
Let's see if he can actually do what he says.
Well, I'm going, and I never agree with John. You guys know that. I never ever agree with John.
Even when the sun's out in the daytime.
I don't care if it's Sunday on a Tuesday. I'm not agreeing with John. Ben Simmons is not coming to Philly to play.
I think his confidence is there, because when he was there and they played, the team played well when he was in Philadelphia. So I think he's using that.
But
there won't. I don't know that Philly has enough security.
The building will collapse from the amount of booze. The infrastructure can't handle that.
Well, listen, I wouldn't even worry about Philadelphia. I mean, if he plays a full year in New York, that media will crush him if he's not on his A game.
But it's not New York. It's Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's Brooklyn.
It's Brooklyn.
It is though, because you have the same media coverage, the same scrutiny. Yeah, it's not the Knicks. I get it. But the Knicks, he would actually got a pass, because they always stink. Brooklyn, you're supposed to perform.
But Snoop Dogg is not going to Brooklyn. You know what I mean?
But just look how bad he got booed and how horrible he played in the exhibition game when it was up there in Brooklyn itself. He airballed. What was it, airballed or bricked the a free throw, the first one, and then he did a turnaround, didn't even hit the rim. I mean, he's not going to play, because he comes here to Philly, he's going to get destroyed from the time he walks in, takes a step off the bus, to the time he takes that last step back onto the bus. He won't be able to get on there fast enough. He won't even take a shower. He's just going to run right to the bus. That's how bad he'll play.
So we're talking basketball. Let's kind of dig into the Sixers a little bit. I know it's only game one,
right?
But it was up in Boston, and gosh, Philly fans, there's nothing about Boston that we like.
No.
We don't like their baseball team, their football teams, their basketball team. There's nothing in Boston that we hate. Yeah, come on. and game one, and this is the energy you brought out, Lauren. Come on,
yeah.
what do
I
you
mean,
got?
we flipped to it a couple times last night, and just every time they were losing, and they seemed lethargic.
We are definitely more than casual basketball fans in the winter. We have on, even if there's something else, we always have it on in the background, and you're thinking in your head, hey, you got to come out. It's obviously they're overshadowed by the Phillies game, but you got to come out and have some energy. And we turn it on, they're down 12 points. We watch the whole Phillies game. We turn it off, they're still down 12, 13 points in the fourth. That doesn't get you excited for the season. That just makes you feel like the playoffs, where you're going to get to the playoffs, you're going to win a round or so, and then you're going to lose. I mean, what's different about this team? It seems like nothing so far.
Not only is it important to get off to like a hot start, but the momentum in the city right now is unlike, honestly, anything I think I've ever experienced in my lifetime, at least. So it just feels like, guys, this could all fall apart at a moment's notice. And you didn't have the energy to go out there last night and kick the shit out of the Celtics. If you didn't have the energy last night, I don't know when you will.
And, Boston went through a whole lot of, problems this offseason with their coach. They had a lot of internal problems, and then I see one of their players, got green hair. I'm like, huh? I'm like, green hair? Really? Seriously?
I also don't feel
Embiid didn't look great last night either. He looked it looked like it was his first year in the league.
They also don't. I don't feel like they've done enough in the offseason to warrant a win. I mean, they got a couple guys, but I'm like, do these guys make you feel like all of a sudden they're going to win a championship? Because that doesn't feel that way to me.
Does Rob Thompson know anything about basketball?
I don't know. Let me ask your mom.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, Girardi's not doing anything. Does he want to give that a whirl?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's too early. It's game one.
I know it's game one, and it's too early to shit all over them. But all I'm saying is, John, you have the Flyers undefeated when everybody thought they were going to shit the bed.
Whoa, easy now. Come on, take it easy.
You did too.
Take it easy.
The Eagles are undefeated, and the Phillies are in the hunt for the World Series, and you don't have the energy at an all-time high to go out there and play your best basketball ever.
Well, how about this? Maybe this breaking news. Maybe they're just not as good as everyone has thought they were. Maybe they're.
We're gonna find out tomorrow night. Game 2. The Bucks come to town.
They win tomorrow night.
Home court. The Bucks are in town.
You better have energy for that one. I mean, there's no excuse for that. There's no Phillies on tomorrow. You're front and center on everyone's TV. You better win that game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
no Flyers either because they're playing tonight as well. So,
yeah, great segue to a fast start for the Flyers. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody. Just like we talked earlier about the Eagles being 6-0, we knew they were going to be okay. They were going to be good, but they had a lot of new players, right? And they came together really fast. We were thinking the same thing with the Sixers, right? But the Flyers they're a mishmash. They don't know what type of system that they even want to play yet. They got so many young players. They got a very vocal coach.
He gets all the credit, right? He's got to be the one that's making all this happen.
We're talking about energy, right? We're talking about the Sixers coming out last night. I mean, you went to Florida, right? The defending world champion, Stanley Cup champion, Tampa Bay Lightning, right? I think they've won 2 cups in the past 5 years.
Plus,
right?
It's their home opener.
And it's their home opener.
Right.
And they're winning 2-0, right? 2-0. And here come the young, inexperienced Flyers, right? With a 3-2 come from behind win. Carter Hart's playing out of his mind.
Yep.
I mean, I know it's only 3 games. I get it. And they could get blown out tonight. Who knows? But it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see Philly sports. And I say it all the time. I mean, what a great time to be a sports fan, right? If you can't rally around your team right now, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, and I know there's a lot of people are divided. They can't do all four sports. I get it. I mean, Jack Broder's been screaming for a Stanley Cup. He's never seen one in his lifetime. Lauren, you talked about it. That was your first Phillies playoff game. You know what I mean? This stuff doesn't happen, like just because.
No.
You got to be good. You got to put in the effort. You got to put in everything. You need to be ready to go. When the lights come on, it's got to happen. But I just, it's just a good time. It really is. It's a great time. It's a great time for us because I know John's a big, sports guy. You guys, love your sports. You travel all over the country. You know what I mean? I love my Philly sports. I honestly do. So I want to see them all do well because I just think it's just great chemistry for business and just people getting out of the doldrums of being locked up for a couple of years and just getting back out and partying and having fun. And I just think that goes a long way with, getting the city back to where it needs to be. I just think, we hear a lot of the trash talking that goes on and whatnot, and Philly gets a bad name, bad rap. But there's no better sports fans than Philly fans. I mean, they're the best.
Yeah. Well, it's also a good time right now separately. I mean, every ad during the commercials is a political ad. It's nice to not have to think about it for a couple of minutes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Finally, people can get along about something. You don't have to talk about politics all the time.
But it is nice when you're sitting this high up on the mountain. It's hard to hear the haters.
Yeah,
you certainly haven't heard them for a while.
You haven't. You haven't.
Yeah,
nothing shuts up the Philly hate better than some wins.
Yeah,
exactly. I think the Flyers are going to have a surprising year this year. This team has a little bit of grit. You see Konechny's playing well, to start the year, and
but I also think they're playing because they got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Everybody thought they were going to be shit anyway, so might as well prove them wrong or just be what everybody thought we were going to be.
But also with Torts there, pushing the buttons, getting them, they're a little nervous, being young guys. They want to, have him because they know if they're not playing well, they're not playing, and I think they're also playing a little bit better defensive game where, they can, they're playing a defensive game, and you're going to see Carter Hart have probably one of his best years of his career to this point. And, even though he broke a skate yesterday, when do you see a goalie do that?
Well, did you see how it happened? The way he wrapped his skate around the goalpost. Yeah, I didn't realize they came undone so easily.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then I'm watching the trainer guy put it back on, and I'm like, that dude's going to shear his hand in half.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then I'm like, wow, I guess he knows what he's doing. But yeah, I mean, it's a great time. I've been looking forward to this show, since for a couple of weeks because I enjoy our shows on the road, but we don't get a chance to talk like we do when we're in the room together and
right.
With some of our favorite fans and kick things around as much as we do. I enjoy it. I think you guys do as well, or you'd look for an excuse not to be able to do the show. So. It's just a good time right now. But real quick, next week, Tuesday, not Wednesday, we are at Hanrahan's Irish Pub in Drexel Hill with legendary goalie Bernie Perrant. Bernie draws a crowd. I don't care where he's at.
Yep.
Bernie draws a crowd. Will draw a crowd. Talked to Jeannie last night and. She's like, let me get that on his personal business page. That ought to add a few more people. And I'm like, oh boy, that line's going to be down Vermont Road. But come out. The food and drink is always fantastic. It's Tuesday night, not Wednesday. Bernie's got an obligation on a Wednesday night, and I promised to find folks at Hanrahan's that we would get Bernie in there this year. And no better time to do it.
Especially now that we're the curse for Wednesday, so we
yeah, I mean we gotta figure out. We gotta get that guy from what was the name of that baseball show? With the candles and the voodoo and
yeah, from Major League.
Major League. We gotta do something
Toronto.
about this. This isn't good.
Yeah,
I don't like
Toronto.
having this bad juju following us around. We don't need this.
But if that's the only day that they lose on Wednesdays, we can handle it.
All right.
That we'll be doing a parade.
All right. Hey, real quick, Lauren, how things going at UMaine, Pennsylvania? Give us a quick rundown.
Good. Yeah, everything's moving along. We have our art auction coming up on November 5th. Tickets are on sale now at humanepa.org. It's going to be a really good time. We've been putting a ton of work into it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We've been fundraising like crazy, getting donations like crazy. But it's our biggest fundraiser of the year, and it's shaping up to be a pretty good one. So I've got my fingers crossed that the weather holds out and is really nice for us. We've got 2 gigantic tents that are going to be packed with all kinds of good stuff. It's definitely a don't miss event.
Nice. And your sidekicks helping you out a little bit?
A little bit. Yeah. Yep.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah. The auction wouldn't be possible without this guy. So.
Good to hear. Good to hear. How about a quick update on Baseball Town? Any new news?
There's a gigantic hole in the outfield still. It's getting flatter, but no building built just yet. I think they're trying to figure out how the insides are going to look, because once you start building it, you can't go back. But the issue is, we're every day the clock ticks, and it's 174 days to the start of next year, and they need to have that shell done before then. Also an outfield wall and all the stuff they tore down. So, we keep getting reminded it's getting colder and colder. And in the next month or so, you're not going to be able to build much in December, January, February. So I'm hoping that those bricks go down in the next week or so. If not, we might be playing at George Field or something else. But they'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Very good. Very good. John, closing comments. What do you got?
Just get your votes in for fantasy football, so I can spend all day tomorrow getting it all figured out, and we'll be good to go. And then we'll see you on Tuesday. Get your reservations in, because I know people are already calling.
Well, Jimmy made it known that he's not taking reservations. It's on a first come, first served basis. And, if you're not there for the show, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
Because it's gonna fill up fast.
Oh yeah.
So we're looking forward to it.
Hey, before we end this, not to cut you off, I gotta call out your boy JD Reds over here. Out of control again.
So it's a poop emoji image in the background, and says, "Well, it was fun while it lasted. Back to reality. Phillies gonna Phillies." I don't know what Phillies gonna Phillies mean.
Can I just real quick? So I know everyone was nervous in September. He was off the bandwagon. Blah, blah, blah. They might. By the way, it's not over. They might lose a game in the NLCS.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God!
If they win the World Series, he will be the drunkest guy at the parade.
He's not allowed for one autograph signing, one anything.
Yeah. See, he's already been cut off. You hear that, John? And he gave you enough crap too. So you and him been battling back and forth.
Oh yeah, he has to complain, and now when they win, he's like, oh, it's just reverse psychology. That's what I'm doing.
By the way, can I say this? He's the quintessential Phillies fan jumping off. Everyone else is into it, all excited, and he's jumping off the bandwagon. Relax.
Well, I actually heard he's a Cowboys fan.
Oh no, he's not.
Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure he was.
I've hung out with him at too many Eagles parties down.
Yeah, I know, but there's rumors around that he's got a tattoo of the star on his ass.
Oh man!
Oh, gross.
I haven't seen it, but that's what the rumors are around town.
That's a hell of a way to close the show. I gotta live with that for the next 2 weeks. No!
Get the battery acid for the eyes.
No way. I guess he don't like us anymore. He doesn't even join the show. So
that's because he's hiding. Because he knows. The only time he was complaining, he comes on and says, "Oh, hey, they're screwing it up again, John." He only comes out when they're doing bad.
There you go.
You know,
There you go.
What are you gonna do?
All right. Well, if we got to come home 1-1 with 3 in Philly, I'm ready.
Exactly. It's all good.
I'm ready.
It's all good. You're not.
I can live with it. I thought with that fast start tonight, 4-0. I thought we were. I was ready. I was ready to pop champagne just for the hell of popping champagne.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little disappointing, but that's why they play a 7-game series.
That is right.
You're not going to win 4 games right off the bat. So
you're right.
You know, you're coming home back to a crazy Philadelphia city, and with 3 games on here, you know, who knows?
Let's win it. Let's win it in Philly.
Exactly.
Guys, it's been real. Great show. Thank you. Thanks to all our fanatical fans for joining us. Hopefully you guys will come out next week and join Bernie Perrant. He's always got a story he hasn't told, or he'll just keep telling the same ones, which are perfectly fine, because when you're legendary Hall of Fame goalie, you can do that. So
absolutely.
He's been taking me out to dinner for 30 years, so that hasn't happened yet, but that's okay.
Still waiting for that boat ride too.
The boat, yeah. I saw pictures. I don't know if they're new or old, but I saw pictures.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a fan in the background and it's
blowing water around.
Exactly.
Now, Bernie's the best, and he's got somebody to keep him in line, or maybe keep her in line. I'm not sure. Love them guys, and love all you guys, and hopefully we'll see you next week at Hanrahan's.
Yep.
Remember, it's Tuesday night. Tuesday night, not Wednesday. We put the kibosh on Wednesday.
Yeah, still the same time, 6:30. So
there
get there,
go.
6 to 8.
All right, guys.
All right, see you.
Have a great night. Have a great rest of the week, and let's go Phillies!
Yes.
Yeah.